Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another speed build here on the channel. I've had quite a few of them recently because I've really gotten into building and there's still quite a few more to come. Now this one is a build that I actually built in the new world of Del Sol Valley. I did use quite a few things from Get Famous and I was really thinking, I was actually playing a household that just sort of on my own, which is the household of Callie, Marie, and Neo. And I always had said that I had envisioned Marie and Callie to be like the famous Sims in my world even before Get Famous was even announced. So I did cheat them up to make them be the famous levels that I thought they would be. In fact, I put Callie at the highest and Marie at the next highest, so 4 and 5 stars. And the Callie's boyfriend Neo is actually only a level 2 star just because I would imagine, like, you know, they sort of met and just hit it off, but he wasn't really that famous yet or anything like that. So yeah, anyway, basically I was just sort of playing them, sort of just enjoying playing on my own, and I had them go on a date and they went out to one of the restaurants, and it was a little annoying in some degrees, just because, which I don't know, I'm pretty sure the paparazzi can't get past a bouncer, if I am correct, but, you know, it was sort of annoying that they were supposed to be on, like, this romantic date, and the paparazzi wouldn't leave either one of them alone, particularly Callie. So I was like, you know what, I really wish I had a restaurant. Like, also just imagining it, like, one of the things is just having a restaurant in Del Sol Valley in general for, like, you know, famous Sims actually go out and eat at. Now, granted, I know they wouldn't have made that because restaurants come for an expansion, and not everyone's gonna have every single expansion or anything like that, so the lots that they get are basically the ones that are restricted to the base game, so they're not gonna make any that are not base game lots in there. But I just really felt like this world needed a restaurant, and in particular a restaurant that, you know, celebrities could go at and hopefully, you know, not be harassed by too many people. So that was sort of the basis of making this restaurant in the first place, was a place that I didn't want to necessarily restrict it to only celebrities, but it is meant mainly for celebrities to actually go inhabit it. Now, inhabit it? Go out and eat. What am I talking about? This is not a place you live at. Anyway, I did actually go and test everything out on this lot before actually doing this voiceover, because I didn't know how restaurants would work with the whole bouncer system and, like, things like that. And my concern was that, like, after going through and making this whole entire thing and including that door, of course all I would have to do is change the door, but that wouldn't help your celebrities not being harassed by fans and paparazzi and stuff. But, you know, that would only been like a minor fix, and you could still use the restaurant as intended. But I wanted to try to make sure that I actually could have a bouncer there and celebrities could go and eat on one level while everyone else ate on another level. So, and it does work, because my concern was that if your host and waiters wasn't celebrity levels, I was like, is the bouncer gonna let them go through? I mean, you would think they would, because technically they're workers. That is their job. They're supposed to be doing that. But at the same time, I was like, what if they don't? What if for some reason they don't allow it because they're not a celebrity level and there's like the game, they wasn't programmed to do that or something. So I did test it out because I didn't read anywhere where people had said anything, and I'm sure someone has tested it out. But I work in retail, so this is the busiest season, like, time of the year, so I don't get to actually be on social media a lot right now or really focus on some of that stuff and actually fully exploring those things or reading about those things as I would like to. So, you know, I personally did not know if it worked, and if you personally did not know it worked, it does work. Your host and waiters and stuff like that, they don't have to have any stars whatsoever, and they can still get past the door. The door automatically sets the 3 stars. You can change it if you want it to be only 5 stars or 4 stars, or if you want it to go lower to the 1 or 2 stars. I personally did at one point set mine to a 2-star rating, because the one thing that doesn't work, just a heads up, that the owner of, if you use this as like an actual restaurant that you have one of your Sims own versus just having random Sims working at this restaurant and not really having anyone own it. But if someone owns it, the person who owns it has to be the celebrity level. That is the only thing, and there's no way to bypass that because I was sort of trying to look at it. So the particular sim that I used to test it out with was actually Flareon from the Eevee family. I thought it was fitting that maybe her next step would to be have a restaurant. I did go to record like her getting the restaurant and setting it up a little bit, but the recording messed up and did not work. So next time we're in the Eevee family household, in the main household, she'll have a restaurant and it will be up to a certain level. Whoops. But anyway, yeah, I was testing it with her and stuff, and I have her at a fame level 2 currently. So I changed the door to a fame level 2, but you can easily change it to a fame level 3. You don't even have to own the lot to be able to change that, I think, because I think I've seen the option to actually click on it and change it when you're outside of it, like when you're not, like for different lots and things like that, like the lounge or something that's in the world naturally. I think I was able to change the stars for that on my own, but you can basically put it as whatever you want. But the way that this is built, the bottom level is for anyone. I do notice that they try to put the people up in the top level first, which is a little bit annoying, but granted, if you're coming to visit this as like on a date, which is the main reason why I originally made this for, is so that I can take my celebrity sims somewhere for them to go on dates with their significant others and so on. That was the main purpose. You know, you can select which table you want to go at and whatever, but the host does normally try to put them up towards the top, so if they're not a level 3 or higher, they'll have a hard time going up there. I wish that the host would know that. I wish that was somehow programmed in. If there's like a mod that somehow fixes that or something to where the host knows that if they're taking a sim group that doesn't have all sims that are above that fame level, not to take them, that would be great. I don't know if there is a thing out there for that, but so that was the like that, and the owner of the restaurant having to have fame. Those were the main issues that I ran into, but they wasn't huge issues because it was only like 1 or 2 tables that the host was trying to take people up to before she started doing some of the lower level ones. But yeah, the lower level and the mid level is meant for or the second level technically, because there's almost like 4 levels in this build. But the bottom level and the second level are meant for like just anyone. Celebrities can eat there if they want to, and if they don't want to, they can go up to the next 2 levels. But then the next level is for celebrities, and there's like a little tall, the very top one is like a little outside seating area that actually has grass on top of it and stuff like that for like super fancy family or big get together of friends that are all celebrities, basically. And honestly, when I started building this, I didn't really know who I was going to make the owner. I didn't really have a certain look in mind going into it. I just know that I wanted it to look as nice and elegant sort of as possible, because, you know, this is in Del Sol Valley, and I did put it as a hot spot for like the already really famous sims. So I definitely wanted to look really nice and really extravagant, basically. And I ended up going with, I mainly started out with just black and whites and golds, because those were the ones that I was pretty sure I was going to go towards anyway. But then I started adding tones of red and a few oranges, hence why I ended up going with Gourmet Roses, because for the name of the build, because Rose's most common color is red, and also, you know, roses are usually expensive, gourmet food's expensive, so I just tried to go for a name that had like some fancy meaning, and also the names behind it were pretty extravagant or thought as expensive or fancy. if you understand what I'm trying to explain here. Sometimes I'm like the most horrible person to explain something, but I will try my best. I did, like I said, I did try to use quite a few other Get Famous stuff, particularly in the area where the celebrity sims are going to be, just because I wanted it to make those sections look like super fancy, super expensive. I wanted it to make it be like, oh, the sim knows that they're in some special place and that they are awesomely amazing and extravagant and all that stuff. And I actually do the landscaping and like the stuff outside last, which is really weird for me. I've actually noticed a few of these builds I've been going about some things a little bit differently than I normally do. In this case, I did not do any of the landscaping, so like any of the plants or anything like that. I did not do it until the very end of the build, which is really strange for me because I normally always try to do it towards the beginning. Partially because I really like doing the landscaping. I think that's one of my stronger suits when I do builds. It's one of the things that, because I don't think I am a very good builder. I think I'm not horrible, but I don't think I'm really that great. I just usually don't think mine turn out as good as they could have, or like up on par compared to a lot of people. But the one thing that I do usually generally like of mine is actually my landscapes. So I do usually do those like as soon as I start the build and get at least the main shell of the structure so that I know where to put the landscaping around. But this time around, I literally waited until the very end. I did all the shells, the shell of the building, wallpaper, furniture, everything was all laid out and ready to go before I even did any of the landscaping. I even done the trash cans on the outside before I did the actual landscaping. Now, I did put 2 host stations, and I think you actually can only ever have 1 host. I don't think you can upgrade it to have 2 hosts, which I don't really fully understand, because there are some places that have more than 1 person actually maintained as the person who is supposed to be, like, taking people to their tables, because if it's a very big area or a very busy area, then you can't have people waiting until that 1 person gets back from wherever the world they just took that one group of people. So I think I have seen though that there may be a mod out there that allows you to have more than 1 host, or allows you to have more waiters, hosts, and chefs. I might look into that just because this build is the fact that it is multiple stories. It was taking the host a while to get back down, so if I can have more than 1 host for this build, especially since I actually did give it to a sim that I will be playing regularly, I really would like that option. So I probably will look into that later on. But one thing I did want to mention, because when I was building it, when I was doing the inside of the kitchen, I put like a chalkboard up, which you can have it make it look like a menu, but I didn't want it to look like a menu. I wanted it to look like notes. And the chalkboard I ended up selecting, I went through and looked through some of them, and then I decided to actually pick the one that looked like they actually had some drawings and maybe like little funny things or little games or something that they was playing. And I did that I decided to do that as more of like a funny thing, because I was like, you know, it'd be funny if like while they're waiting in between like foods fixing or washing the dishes or something like that, they're just leaving these writing on this chalkboard and being silly, and they're playing games with the other waiters like tic-tac-toe or something, and when one of them comes back they put a space in it. So just as like a little funny silly thing for them. And I thought that was funny, just picturing it in my head, like the waiters actually doing stuff like that in between them walking around and doing stuff. So that was a little silly funny thing that I did that I wanted to mention, because yeah. But I hope you do end up really liking this build. It is going to be on the gallery. Of course, there is no CC. I don't normally ever limit myself to packs, just because it is really hard to do, and I feel like though some packs do it better with other packs, there's stuff in several of the different packs that complement other stuff from other packs, and it's just, I've gotten used to building with almost all of them. The fact that I don't use CC in a lot of these builds anymore limits me already, because I love my CC stuff. I will say with the community lots that I've been doing a lot more recently of, it's a lot easier not to use CC in them than it is the house builds, because the house builds I want to add more clutter and more personal objects and things like that, and the CC objects that I have tend to add more of that personal element and individuality, or whatever that word is. If y'all watch the channel enough, y'all know that I can't pronounce things half the time. So I think the CC helps with that, but when you're coming to like community lots, there is some point where you can add a little bit of personalization and a little bit of individual spice, personality, whatever, because, you know, if you imagine who owns the building, then their personality could come out of it, and stuff like that, or what the point of the building is supposed to portray. But it's not going to be doing as much as a house build. So it's a lot easier not to use CC in these community lot builds than it is with residential lots. But I do like that I'm getting a lot of these community lots done. I actually, one of the comments on one of the first community lots that I put actually was the fact that someone was really excited for community lots. I wanted to say, hold on. It was, Laura, which was on my Sky High, lounge and bar, or bar and lounge. I forgot which order I put that in now. But, and when I really thought about it, you don't see the community lots as much. At least I don't, especially like the YouTubers I watch. You don't see community lot builds too often. And I didn't really realize that until that comment. And I was like, you know, I'm having fun actually doing these community lots though. For one, I'm actually partially doing it to bring a lot of individual elements of like into my game. And I'm actually going through and basically all the lots that were either I had gotten off the gallery or they were already pre-made by the Sims team or whatever. I'm basically going to be slowly getting rid of all of them in my main save and replacing them with mine. I say slowly, but I've been actually building at quite a fast rate at this point to replace a lot of those buildings. This one actually, like, of course, since it's for Flarion's restaurant, it did replace a build, which was a park that was in the park area that was in Del Sol Valley. Partially because, like, I liked it, but, as far as parks go, there was not, like, anything incredibly special about that park. And for me, even upcoming celebrities, I didn't really see them, like, really fully hanging out at a random small tiny park. If they're gonna play, like, musical instruments or do comedy or something on the street, you can honestly do that about anywhere, like, if you look at it as a realistic standpoint. So, I didn't see, like, it being a huge thing that if this park was still there or not, and I actually decided to get rid of the park and replace it with the restaurant because I really thought it needed a restaurant. And I am super glad that I actually do have a restaurant. One, I need more restaurants to go to because I tend to end up going to the same ones all the time. I think I have 3 restaurants in my game, but I go to... It seems like I go to them in waves. I'll go to one of them for a while in my series for a while, and then I'll stop going to it and I'll go to one of the others. I don't tend to mix it up, so having another restaurant is nice to actually sort of, like, you know, mix it up, make it a little bit different, and give a little extra to the game and give somewhere else for my Sims to go out on dates. And this is definitely meant to be more of a formal type area. I have picked out, like, outfits for the host and them to wear, picked out the menus for it, and I've also picked saying that Sims that are visiting the lot wear formal wear versus anything. So this is definitely a high-end type restaurant that is going on here, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I actually think it's really, really pretty, and I definitely like the way that I actually ended up doing the structure. Some of it is just sort of random and doesn't have a point to it other than a design element to look fancy or special or different. And that's part of the reasons why I like them. I hope you like it as well, and definitely hope that maybe you enjoy it enough that you would think to actually add it into your game. If you actually do download it, or you make any changes to it, or whatever it may be, I would always like to see if y'all end up actually taking any of my Sims creations or my build creations and changing them up a bit. I would love to see any of those, so if you do that, definitely tweet a picture of it or something over to me on my Twitter, which will be down in the description below if you haven't already followed me. Alright, so there is only about 4 minutes left in the build, 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. The screenshots are going to be showing up soon here at the end so that you can see a little bit better pictures of them without them moving and stuff. Let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite part about this build? Do you like the build? Would you consider putting it in your game? And all that stuff. So let me know down there. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. subscribe if you are not already. I already said comment down below though, so that's just repeating myself. I'm really bad at these outro things, but that's nothing new. All of my Sims 4 playlists will be down in the description below, including the Sims 4 build playlist. And if for some reason that it's not, definitely always let me know if there's something missing down there that should be down there. That like I said, this is gonna be on the gallery. My origin ID is ArtisticGamer7, so you can find it by my ID name using hashtag ArtisticGamer7 or searching for Gourmet Roses in the restaurants, and you will find it there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna let music play for this short ending bit, and all that stuff. See you in the next one.